Hi guys, welcome back to my channel once again here on YouTube. Today I thought I'd do a follow-up video to my 2014 TNA DVD pay-per-view year in review, and I decided to obviously do 2015 as the title suggests, and obviously the thumbnail, which I'll put together in a bit. Yeah, before I get into it, I know it looks a bit random, the background. I couldn't get my signed photos to stay on the wall, where I keep taking them on and off and swapping them around. The blue tack's just not very good anymore. So just in case you're wondering why I've got them propped up like that, that's blue tack holding each one up there, so it's easier to change them every time I swap them around, depending on the video from now on. And yeah, because today's theme is TNA 2015, I picked out 3 signed photos from 2015 kind of time, I guess. Like wrestlers from that time period. So we got EC3, Gail Kim, and Eli Drake. Anyway, yeah, so 2015. Again, with the pay-per-views, they cut from 4 pay-per-views, main pay-per-views a year, this is, to just 2. So we lost Lockdown, which I was absolutely gutted about. The last one being obviously in 2014, and the 4th pay-per-view, which in 2014 was Sacrifice, and the year before that was Genesis in 2013. And yeah, we're just cut down to Slammiversary and Bound for Glory as our 2 main pay-per-views each year at this point anyway. And the other 10 months are filled up with the one night only pay-per-view events again. From what I understand, the company were contracted to put out pay-per-views each month, but there were 2 things that I read up on. So one of them was that they wanted to build bigger storylines, so it builds up to the bigger pay-per-views, so that, you know what I mean? So we have like a bigger gap in between pay-per-views, and storylines can develop a bit better rather than have them on, a monthly basis. There was that, and then there was also that they had to put out a pay-per-view because they were contracted to whoever they were with at that point. I can't remember, was it Spike TV or something? I don't know, whoever they'd done the pay-per-view deal with. But obviously they had to cut on budget as well. So they would film the one night onlys around the same time as they did their Impact shows, I think. But they filmed them in advance. Then, because they're pre-taped, they would air them on the certain months that they needed to, like January, February, so on and so forth. But yeah, enough of that. I'm going to ramble on for ages about random shit like that. Otherwise, I don't get on with this now. So yeah, let's kick things off with January then, guys. So we had Turning Point. So they've kept a name of one of their pay-per-views again, and for this one night only event. And yeah, so January had Turning Point, which was pretty cool artwork. And we have Jeff Hardy versus MVP, Rude against Storm. That feud's still going on after all this time. And the Great Sonata versus Aries. There's the spine. And here's the matches. Samoa Joe took on Kenny King. We had a knockouts match. Gail Kim versus Madison Rayne versus Angelina Love. The Great Sonata against Austin Aries, as we saw on the front cover just then. Gunner and Mr. Anderson versus EC3 and Rockstar Spud. Let me just balance that there in case I'm shaking, guys. Apologies because of my health. Eric Young versus Magnus. Monsters Ball match. Bram versus Abyss. Bobby Roode against James Storm for the millionth time. Similar to Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns over in WWE. I'm just being sarcastic, guys. Sorry. I didn't mind Bobby Roode against James Storm matches, but they did have quite a few together, didn't they, against each other. They were a good tag team as well, in my opinion. I loved Beer Money. Fucking awesome tag team. Yeah, and the main event of Turning Point was Jeff Hardy against MVP. Nice little one night only pay-per-view, that one. Moving on to February, we had Rivals. So just checking out all the wrestlers on the front there. So we got from left to right at the top, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Jeff Hardy, Taryn Terrell, and Gunner. I was going to say Bram then. It's not Bram, it's Gunner. At the bottom, from left to right, EC3, MVP, Magnus, Gail Kim, and there's Bram right on the end of that one. Okay. Yeah, they kind of look alike. I think it's just because of long hair and the beard, but I can tell them apart, obviously, because of the tattoos. And it's just me. Sorry, guys, ignore me. So yeah, each of those wrestlers from almost 10 years ago are no longer with TNA, unfortunately. But, well, not to my knowledge anyway. No, they're not, are they? Just double checking that, because I'll probably get in the comments, oh yeah, but this guy works behind the scenes for TNA. You know what I mean? Or she works as in the production team for TNA. I don't know. Anyway, okay-ish kind of artwork, I guess. I don't mind it. So we had 3 of these Rivals put out from between 2015 to 2017. Obviously, we'll get to the other ones at some point in the future, maybe. And there's the disc. Sorry guys, I couldn't show you the disc for Turning Point because that one was sealed still. But yeah, this one's open, and that was the disc for all you discors out there. Interesting cover artwork on the back with Eric Young and Abyss at the top there. And then we have DJZ, The Great Sonata, Kenny King, and Samoa Joe. The group of 4 wrestlers at the bottom in the picture there. So matches, Jeff Hardy versus Magnus, Bobby Roode versus MVP, Bobby Roode versus Lashley. It's a double duty for Bobby Roode then. Madison Rayne versus Angelina Love, Eric Young versus Abyss, Austin Aries versus EC3, Bram versus Gunner. Bram and Gunner again. Shit. Twins against each other. Only kidding, guys. X Division elimination match. We had Kenny King versus The Great Sonata versus DJZ versus Samoa Joe. Those X Division matches are always a pleasure to watch in TNA. Very rarely do they fail to deliver such a fucking quality match. 5 stars. Usually 4 or 5-star rating matches. Very rare you get a shit X Division kind of match. That's just my opinion though. James Storm against Mr. Anderson, and the lovely Taryn Terrell against Gail Kim. Moving on to March, we have Joker's Wild with a $100,000 prize. Did they up that prize since the last Joker's Wild, or has it gone down? I can't remember if it was 150, 120, or just 50 grand last time. Either way, there's a 100 grand prize up for grabs here in this Joker's Wild from 2015. Lovely artwork again. Gold, kind of yellow, clashing with the black at the bottom there. And we have really awesome wrestlers on the front there. We have Austin Aries right at the top with his eye on the prize. Literally. We have from left to right, Cowboy James Storm, Magnus, Bobby Lashley in the center there, EC3, and Bobby Roode on the end. There's the spine. Disc. Same as the cover artwork as always with these ones. But I thought I'd show you guys anyway. So yeah, lifelong friends, sworn enemies, all bets are off as the stars of Impact Wrestling join together for 8 random tag team matchups, with 2 winning teams competing in a one-on-one 4-way gauntlet match for $100,000 in cold hard cash. Kind of gives away the spoilers on the back there as well, because if you're like me and you like to see who gets drawn out of the tombola and partnered with who, similar to WCW's Lethal Lottery system, or maybe like the Royal Rumble thing that they used to do with the tombola. Is that what they call them, tombolas? The bingo fucking ball machine thing? I don't know. But yeah, you kind of get what I'm on about, guys, I guess. But yeah, spoilers here, I guess. in a way if you didn't want to know who got paired with who and you wanted to see for yourself. But anyway, Bromance against Mr. Anderson and Al Snow, Rockstar Spud and Awesome Kong, which made a hilarious team together, those two. It was cool. I did like watching those two together. A lot of comedy going on, but it was fun. They took on Samuel Shaw and DJZ. The Wolves conveniently got paired together against, also conveniently, Bobby Roode and Austin Aries. EC3 partnered up with Crazy Steve to take on Nux and Tyrus. Kind of a strange one because EC3 and Tyrus were kind of associated together, with Tyrus being EC3's bodyguard at this point. And obviously Crazy Steve and Nux were a part of the Menagerie stable together. So yeah, very strange pairings, but very cool at the same time. Eric Young and Bram took on Magnus and Tommy Dreamer. Chris Melendez, guys, can you remember him? He was cool. And yeah, he was like an ex. If you didn't know him, he was an ex-military kind of guy who decided to take up pro wrestling after his career in the military. I think he was discharged because, from what I remember, I do believe he unfortunately lost a leg, but that didn't stop him from getting in the ring and, you know what I mean, taking on all the wrestlers, similar to Zach Gowen as well, another one-legged wrestler, pretty cool. But yeah, Chris Melendez, whatever happened to that dude? He was pretty cool. He partnered up with Kenny King anyway. They took on James Storm and Gunner. Sanjay Dutt and Gail Kim took on Tigre Uno and Manic. And Lashley and Koya took on Abyss and the Great Sanada. I love the Joker's Wild. As I've said in previous videos, why can't they have this as a main pay-per-view? I love it. Good stuff. So next up we have April. Hardcore Justice 2015. Now, boy, do I have a story behind this one. So this was one of the ones, one of the DVDs that I found very difficult to obtain. I remember when it was released, and at the time I decided, I know you probably guys have heard this story before about other DVDs as well, but I'm also a video game collector, and at the time when this came out, I was thinking, oh, that can wait. You know what I mean? There was a few other wrestling DVDs as well at the time, and I thought, oh, that can wait. I'll get that next time I get paid, and I'll get my the video games I have my eye on this month, and I'll get that one next month. And then the next month came along, and something else came up, so I purchased something else, and then I kept putting this off over and over again with a few of the other TNA DVDs. Can't really remember off the top of my head what they were, but I think one of them was Knockouts, Knockdown 2014, and there was another one as well. But anyway, yeah, eventually it became out of stock in the wrestling store, and then obviously when I started my channel up in 2021, I met a few awesome people, one of them being David Diaz, Rocket Dave, and he had a spare copy of this because he managed to get himself one, but he ordered two by mistake, I think, or something like that, and then he offered it to me at a very good price, and I was like, I almost bit his hand off. Do you know what I mean? he was offering it to me, and I was there chomping away trying to just rip his arm off for it. I was like, yeah, mate, send it my way, please. I need that one. And now it's just absolutely ridiculously hard to find, and it's fucking expensive as well. But yeah, anyway, let's get back to this. Sorry about the rant, guys. Yeah, Hardcore Justice 2015. Really cool artwork as well. Abyss and Matt Hardy on the front. There's the spine. And disc. And matches. Bobby Roode took on Lashley in a last man standing match. We had 6 sides of steel. Bram against Tommy Dreamer. EC3 against Rockstar Spud in a first blood match. EC3 and Rockstar Spud had a fucking awesome feud. I remember when Rockstar Spud had a Feast of Fire briefcase this particular year, and It contained a X Division Championship opportunity. He eventually became X Division champion, and he wanted to cash in option C. Sorry, guys. And Kurt Angle was the champion at that point, and yeah, he cashed in a world title shot against Kurt Angle, which pissed off EC3, who was #1 contender for the championship at that point. And that's when things started to get a bit heated between the two, I guess. And yeah, unfortunately, Rockstar Spud was unsuccessful against Angle, but I remember them having a fucking cracker of a match. So did EC3 and Rockstar Spud. They had some good matches together, and yeah, from what I remember, this one was pretty cool as well. Hardcore Gauntlet 12-man Battle Royal. We also had Abyss against Matt Hardy in a Monsters Ball match. Knockout Street Fight Havoc against Gail Kim. Tables match Gunner versus Eric Young. Pipe on a pole Kenny King versus Drew Galloway. And ladder match The Wolves versus The Revolution. Moving on to May. X Division Extravaganza 2015. This is another one of those ridiculously hard to find kind of titles. I think this was another one I may have put off, but I was fortunate enough to get it from the wrestling store, pre-owned, a few years ago to fill that gap. 2015 was a year where I did have lots of gaps, like I said. I explained earlier, I chose to buy other things over wrestling DVDs. I regretted it afterwards, but it is what it is. I've got them now, so I'm going to quit bitching about it. Shitload of X Division talent on the front there, jam-packed, featuring the Ultimate X, as it says at the top there. So we have Rockstar Spud at the centre of it all there, Kenny King, Tigre Uno, the Wolves, Manic, who used to be S-U-I-D. Am I spelling that correctly? S-U-Su. You know what I'm on about. The S word. I'm not allowed to say it on here because it's stupid, even as a name of a wrestler. You know who I mean. S-U-I-D. Nope, still can't fucking... I can't spell. You know who I mean. Take the piss out of me all you want, guys. I don't give a shit. It's funny. I'm trying to spell it, but you know what I'm on about. Fuck it. Yeah, Manic, who used to be the other guy, dressed in red and black and with a white kind of face. DJ Z at the top there. Great Sonata, Crazy Steve, Austin Aries, Matt Hardy. And the disc's different to the cover artwork. It's always worth checking. We have Austin Aries and Matt Hardy. But saying that, I better turn it round now and it's the same as the back. Well, kind of. But yeah, it makes a change from the front cover anyway. And then we got the Wolves at the bottom. So we had 14-man, one ring, the goal, a coveted spot in the Ultimate X finals, and a shot at 100 grand. Another 100 grand. Cool. Plus a brutal ladder match featuring the TNA knockouts and more. So Ultimate X final match featuring the winners of the qualifier matches on the same evening, on the same card, obviously. So we had Matt Hardy versus Austin Aries, Eddie Edwards against Davey Richards. There was also a ladder match, Gail Kim versus Taryn Terrell versus Brooke versus Madison Rain versus Angelina Love. The Ultimate X qualifying match, McKay's versus DJZ. McKay's. I'm going to have to look that wrestler up. I don't remember that one. Rockstar Spud versus Dalton Castle. Crazy Steve versus Jonathan Cruz versus the Great Sonata. Manic versus Mr. 450. Kenny King versus Pepper Parks versus Jay Rios. Tigre Uno versus Sanjay Dutt. Yeah, back to McKay's. Apologies to whoever that is. I don't mean to be disrespectful or rude, but the name just doesn't ring a bell. So, yeah, that's X Division Extravaganza. And sorry about my spelling as well. You know who I was on about. It's still on my mind now. You know the word. I can't fucking say it on air though. Moving on. An actual pay-per-view this time, a proper one. Not a one night only. We have Slammiversary. It's interesting artwork which they decided to go with for this one. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's really good. It's like a pencil drawing of all the wrestlers on the front there, with Jeff Jarrett at the centre there. Also got Drew Galloway on the left, and then Bobby Roode at the top with, is that Eric Young? That doesn't look like Eric Young. No, that can't be Eric Young, surely. But I think that's who it's supposed to be. Yeah, Matt Hardy. V1. He's doing V1. Look. Never mind. It's not, because he didn't have that gimmick in TNA, obviously. And then, yeah, that's a really good disc as well, with the disc arc, with the pencil drawings. And again, with the pencil drawings on the back, that's smart. I like that. It's really cool. X Division Championship freeway elimination match. So we had Tigre Uno, DJZ, Manic, the guy whose previous name I can't spell. And then we had Davey Richards against Austin Aries. I think that was some kind of stipulation to do with a tag team best of 5 series or something they were having at the time. We got a handicap match, the Dollhouse against Kong and Brooke, James Storm against Magnus, Bram versus Matt Morgan, Jesse Goddard against Robbie E, EC3 versus Tyrus. No, sorry, EC3 and Tyrus versus Lashley and Anderson. King of the Mountain, which had Drew Galloway, Bobby Roode, Jeff Jarrett, Eric Young. It is Eric Young. And Matt Hardy. It does not look like Eric Young, though. Very fucking weird. I'm going to quickly read that as well, because this is one of the main pay-per-views. It was a bit disrespectful for me to just skip that, so sorry. So TNA Home Video presents Slammiversary 2015, the nearly 3-hour epic TNA wrestling anniversary event from Orlando, Florida, on June 28th, 2015. On this release, you will witness the event in its entirety, including the return of the King of the Mountain match, a freeway bout for the X Division Championship, and much more. Plus, watch exclusive bonus content featuring Jeff Jarrett's induction ceremony into the TNA Hall of Fame. That's a good little bonus, that. Yeah, the King of the Mountain Championship as well was introduced to this pay-per-view, and I think this was the first time in 5 or 6 years that we had a King of the Mountain match at Slammiversary, because we didn't have them during the Hogan Bischoff era of TNA. So they kind of scrapped that idea. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, good pay-per-view, I guess. Yeah, there was something going on with the tapings around that time as well, because EC3 had won the World Championship on an episode of Impact. And I think it was announced before this pay-per-view. I don't know. It kind of messed us as fans up, because we were getting told information about things that already hadn't happened, but they had, because they were pre-taped. Something to do with him winning the World Championship, and then he was still not World Champion on the pay-per-view, or I don't know. Look it up on Google or something, guys. I can't remember. I know, I'm terrible. But yeah, that was kind of a confusing thing going on there with that. And then EC3 becoming the champion throughout the summer of 2015 was pretty cool. And we'll get to more on EC3 as champion a little later in this video. Moving on to July, I had a custom-made Knockouts Knockdown 2015, one night only, because it never got an official release. Cheers, Chad Stone, for doing that one for me, dude. I'm very grateful. Again, you're always putting together awesome content, awesome DVDs and Blu-rays. Check him out on Facebook, guys. WVM is his page on Facebook. And yeah, his name's Chad Stone, just in case you needed to chat with him about any customs you're after. I don't know if this is picking up the match list in this camera, guys. I apologise if it isn't. I'm going to try and bring it closer. There we go. That's a bit better. Well, he says that and it's fucking around with the focus again. Focus! There we go. Madison Rayne versus Alicia. Thea Trinidad versus Angelina Love. Gail Kim versus Laura Dennis. Buddy! Havoc versus Solo Darling. TNA Knockouts Championship. We had Taryn Terrell versus Gail Kim versus Havoc. Taryn Terrell pulling more double duty by the looks of this, against the gorgeous Su Yung. Brooke versus Mia Yim, or Maya Yim, however you want to pronounce her name. Mary Kate, no Ashley though, against Awesome Kong. We have Nux, Crazy Steve and Rebel of the Menagerie against Jesse Goddard's Robbie E and Angelina Love of Bromance with a female. I don't know, were they called something else with Angelina Love, or she was just paired with them? I don't know. And then the Knockouts Gauntlet match. But yeah, guys, I'm very pleased with this. Well put together custom. Cheers once again, Chad Stone. Moving on to August now, guys. We have the World Cup 2015. Again, another one of these kind of tournaments which I love. We have all the team captains on the front there. We have EC3, Bobby Roode, Jeff Hardy, and Eric Young. That is Eric Young this time, isn't it? Yes, it is. It was last time as well. It just didn't fucking look like him though. And the cover artwork is different to the disc one again, so that's pretty cool. And there we go. Some spoilers again. If you're like me and you'd like to see who each captain likes to take it in turns to pick for their respective team, then you probably would just ignore the back there. But basically, this is how all the teams ended up being after each captain took it in turns to pick a knockouts, a heavyweight, I think an X Division star, and something else. I don't know how they worked. I can't remember now, but yeah, something like that. So Team Roode had Lashley, Aries, Magnus, Mr. Anderson, Taryn Terrell. Team Young had Bram, Abyss, Havoc, Samuel Shaw, Manic. Team EC3 had Tyrus, Storm, Awesome Kong, Jesse Goddard's, Robbie E. And Team Hardy had Gunner, Davey Richards, Gail Kim, Crazy Steve, Rockstar Spud. And there's all the matches there. Yep, love the World Cup. Another good idea. Very good. Moving on to September. We had TNA's version of Tough Enough, I'd like to call this. Just my opinion though, guys. So TNA presents Gut Check, where we had all these I was going to say wannabe wrestlers. I don't want to be rude. All these wrestlers. All right then. All these young upcoming rookies, talent that want to be. Say I'm wannabe again. Future talent of TNA, having tryouts and stuff. Like I can't even fucking think straight today. I can't even think of the word I'm looking for. But yeah, tryouts for possible future wrestlers for TNA, and we had like Jesse Goddard against Martin Stone, Gunner against Chris Louis, MVP versus John Davis, Revolution versus the Von Erichs, Crazy Steve against Sean Ricker. Sean Ricker is Eli Drake or LA Knight as you know him nowadays. Davey Richards versus Tony Kazina, Samuel Shaw versus Crimson, EC3 versus Tavita Fafita. Fucking hell, that's a mouthful. DJZ versus Dalton Castle. Drew Galloway against Pepper Parks. I'll let the description explain it because I'm not happy with the way I tried to get that across then, that description. So 10 challengers will try to advance in the elimination match finals, but there's only one problem. They first must go through Jesse Goddard's, Gunner, MVP, The Revolution, Crazy Steve, Davey Richards, Samuel Shaw, EC3 and Drew Galloway to earn a coveted spot in Impact Wrestling. So what I think it was, they had to beat a TNA talent in order to join Impact Wrestling. Again, because it was such a long time ago, I can't really remember much about it. But yeah, it was like a Tough Enough. Like WWF had Tough Enough, WWE, whatever, and TNA had Gut Check. October. Yes, October now. Sorry, guys. I lost track of where I was then. Bound for Glory. We had a TNA World Heavyweight Championship freeway match. Champion EC3 put his title on the line against Drew Galloway and Matt Hardy. V1! And then V1's brother, Brother Nero. Shit. No, it's Jeff Hardy. But still, you know who I'm on about. Yeah, his brother was special referee for this match. Really cool poster artwork, cover artwork, that one. And there's the disc artwork. Spine. And matches. No description, just straight to the match card listing. Okay then, I was going to read the description. Never mind. So yeah, we had the TNA World Championship freeway match, as I've already talked about. No DQ match, Eric Young versus Kurt Angle. TNA Knockouts Championship, Gail Kim against Awesome Kong. TNA King of the Mountain Championship match, Bobby Roode putting his championship on the line. No, sorry, was it Bobby Roode or Lashley was the champion? I think it was Lashley, actually, against Bobby Roode. TNA World Tag Team Championships, the Wolves against Myers and Lee. Bound for Glory Gauntlet, 12-man gauntlet with the winner getting a future TNA World Championship opportunity, from what I remember. Spoiler alert, it was Tyrus that won that one. And TNA X Division Championship, Tigre Una versus Manic versus DJZ versus Andrew Everett. Yes, good pay-per-view. Very strange finish. Undefeated EC3 lost the championship. Matt Hardy became the champion. I think Matt Hardy pinned Drew. I don't remember EC3 getting pinned in this one. Could be wrong though, but I'm pretty sure. Obviously, it was his first defeat here, to my knowledge. And yeah, Matt Hardy walks out as champion, but vacates it on the next episode of Impact that followed this, due to EC3 filing a lawsuit against him or something, because I don't know, just because he wanted to, because he's a Carter and he can and all that shit. But yeah, that vacated the championship and put it up in a fantastic World Championship tournament, which went on for a good 3 months, pretty much. So November, December, and then the new champion was crowned January 2016, from what I can remember. Each week on Impact, we'd have more and more of the tournament matches. The tournaments were broken into various groups. We had a groups for the knockouts, a groups for legends, a groups for former world champions, I think it was, and a group for X Division, I think, as well. And it was good that pretty much everyone on the roster had an opportunity in their groups. So you had groups of 4. A win would be 3 points. It's like a round robin kind of tournament, guys. Sorry. Yeah, so a win would be 3 points. A draw would be a point. And obviously you get fuck all points for a defeat. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was one of my favourite TNA tournaments. And one of my favourite tournaments I enjoyed watching, because it was such a long tournament as well. And for a while, it didn't look like EC3 was going to progress well in that tournament. And yeah, each match was also a 15-minute time limit. So if it got to 15 minutes and there wasn't a winner, we'd have a draw. So you get a point each in your respective group. But it was good. I really did enjoy that. But yeah, good Bound for Glory, but strange finish. Why have Matt Hardy win the championship only for him to vacate it days later. Very bizarre. November, and my second custom of this year I had made was one night only's the TNA Classic. Thanks again, Chad Stone, for this bad boy. So we had TNA Classic Tournament first round matches: Gunner versus the Great Sonata, Mr. Anderson versus DJZ, Sanjay Dutt versus Bram, Austin Aries versus Koya, MVP versus Davey Richards, Eric Young versus Bobby Roode, Nux versus Kenny King, Robbie E versus Rockstar Spud, and 6 knockouts tag team match, beg your pardon. Brooke, Taryn Terrell and Rebel against Havoc, Madison Rain and Angelina Love. I was trying to show you guys the tournament brackets there. I think it's a tournament anyway. Need to watch this one properly through again. When I say again, I haven't watched this particular copy. I watched it back when it was shown on Challenge TV in the UK. I think I had that one on my Freeview box as well. But again, interesting idea for one night only. They love their tournaments and prize money and all that shit, don't they? And then December, we end the year with another one night only. A very good one again as well. USA versus the World. Another kind of tournament, I guess. Kind of, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so USA, who can rack up the most points, the USA or the World? So the USA talent are all on the left-hand side, as you can see with the flags, and then we have the rest of the world on the right-hand side. So Davey Richards against Tigre Uno, who was representing Mexico. I fucking think that's a Mexican flag anyway. Jesus Christ, it's one of them days, I swear. I'm fucking dead certain it is anyway. Taryn Terrell versus Angelina Love. That is definitely a Canadian flag. Definitely. It's got a maple leaf on it, for fuck's sake. Austin Aries versus the Great Sonata, Japan. Eddie Edwards versus Bram with the UK flag. Jesse Goddard's against Drew Galloway. That should be a Scottish flag, really. Bram should have the English flag. I don't know why they've done it like that. Gunner versus Koya, Indian flag. DJZ versus Rockstar Spud, again with the UK flag. James Storm against Magnus with the UK flag. EC3 versus Sanjay Dutt with Indian flag. And Mr. Anderson versus the Great Muta, Japan. Some of those matches seem pretty cool. And something else I was going to say, actually, guys, it's also good to check out some of these one night only matches, because if you try and think of TNA wrestlers you liked, but you never knew they had a match together because it only took place on a one night only event, you wouldn't know, would you, without checking some of these out? Because whether they didn't have a feud together in like on main storylines, main pay-per-views, or on Impact Wrestling TV or whatever, they could have ended up in tournament matches against one another. And in a way, it may not be like a dream match, but it'd be like a kind of a fantasy match, if you see what I mean. And you've got to see those two wrestlers in a particular match together. I can't really think of any off the top of my head at the moment, but you've seen, you know, if you look through certain matches, you pick up on all this. Like recently, I forgot that Austin Aries took on Sting in a match, but that wasn't on one of these. That was on like an episode of Impact. But you wouldn't think that those two ever had a match together if you don't look more into these things. But yeah, if you like try and think of a dream match that you wanted two TNA stars to go against each other, and you think, oh, they never faced each other, then just research it more. Chances are they'll turn up on these one night onlys. But anyway, I'm going to stop ranting on now. That was 2015 TNA year in DVD pay-per-view, and well, if you want to class one night only as a pay-per-view, I kind of do, as I said before. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Please feel free to comment, like, subscribe. Sorry I couldn't spell a certain thing properly earlier. I wasn't taking the piss. I literally couldn't. But now I can off the top of my head, but I don't want to, because just in case the bots or whatever it is that go through all these videos pick up on it and then take this video down. So I've had issues like that before with YouTube where they've said I'm not allowed to upload something because it's like a copyright thing, or there's a problem, there's an issue with your video, could you take it down, or do you know what I mean? It happens, but it is what it is. You guys know who I was on about anyway. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. I had a laugh. I like taking the piss out of myself. And you can take the piss out of me too in the comments. And also give me a thumbs up if I deserve one today. I probably don't. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hi to new subscribers. And comment, guys, by all means. And I'll catch you again soon for another video. Stay safe, guys. Much love. Goodbye for now.